Hey everybody, this is Frikkie from Pass and Prosper. I did record this video already, but then what ended up happening was I realized my audio didn't work, so I had to fix it. So a lot of people have been struggling with identifying the differences between when it is a section 74, 75, 76, and 77 bill. So I thought, let me just make a video quickly explaining it and setting up a nice little process for determining it. So let's just start with what each of the bills are. 74 is a bill that amends the Constitution, specifically any provision in the Constitution. But then the subsections will define the different parts of the Constitution that you are amending, and it will determine it in terms of that. So I'll get into that explanation now. 75 is then ordinary bills, so bills that don't amend the Constitution, that do not affect provinces. 76 are the same, ordinary bills, but ones that do affect the provinces. And then 77 is a money bill. So let's work through 74 to start with. So section 74, the bills are divided into three kinds. You get 74.1, 74.2, 74.3. 74.1 is very straightforward. If it amends section 1 of the Constitution, then it is a 74.1 bill, and it is the most strongly entrenched part of the Constitution. It requires 75% of the National Assembly to vote in favour of it, plus 6 out of the 9 provinces. All the other bills only require 2/3, or 66.67% of National Assembly to vote in favour of it. Now, what is a 74.2, 74 subsection 2 bill? A section 74 subsection 2 bill is any 74 bill which amends chapter 2 of the Constitution, so the Bill of Rights. They will say in a question whether or not a bill is intending to amend the Bill of Rights, and if it is, then it's 74.2. The requirements to pass such a bill are 2/3 of the National Assembly must vote in favour and 6 out of 9 provinces. Very straightforward and simple. 74.3 is where it gets a little bit more complicated. So these are 74 bills that amend the Constitution, but they amend a provision that is not Section 1 of the Constitution and which is not the Bill of Rights, Chapter 2 of the Constitution. An example that I've often used in my lessons is Section 50 of the Constitution. Section 50 is the provision in the Constitution that deals with the early dissolvement of National Assembly. Now, 74.3 says two important things. The first one is what I just explained, that it's a provision that's not in Chapter 2 and that is not Section 1. It's any other provision. The second part of it that's important is that it will always require 2/3 of National Assembly to vote in favour of it to pass. But the 6 out of the 9 provinces in the National Council of Provinces will only need to vote in terms of such a bill where it either affects the council, changes something like a boundary or the powers of a provincial legislature or province, or finally where it affects some other provincial matter. Now, Section 50 is a good example of where none of those requirements would be met, because Section 50 deals with early dissolvement of National Assembly. National Assembly, that would not affect the Council of Provinces. It does not affect the boundary or the powers of provinces, and it also isn't dealing with a provincial matter. Therefore, in that specific instance, if we were to amend Section 50 using 74 subsection 3, only 2/3 of the National Assembly would have to vote in favour of it for it to pass. So that deals with 74. Now, I'm not going to go straight to 75. I'm first going to explain 76 and 77, and then I'm going to go back and you're going to see why. So Section 76 is an ordinary bill, so a bill that does not affect the provisions of the Constitution in any way. It's just some other kind of bill, but one that does affect the provinces. And the test for that is very simple and straightforward. If it is a Schedule 4 matter, it will be a Section 76 bill. That is the test. So just read through your annexure. See, is the thing that this bill is trying to do, is it contained in Schedule 4? If it is, then it will be a 76 bill, because it's an ordinary bill affecting the provinces. Then a 77 money bill is not in my notes, but if you just read it in the annexure which is given to us in the test, you'll be able to determine it very easily. Section 77, subsection 1, subparagraphs A to D contain what a money bill can be. So one of the examples is it levies national taxes. So if it uses any of those keywords, then you know that it's a money bill. If it doesn't meet any of those keywords in those subparagraphs under Section 77, subsection 1, it's not a money bill. Now we're going to get to Section 75, and I hope you guys have been seeing the pattern, because I've explained when other bills are that bill. A 75 bill is an ordinary bill not affecting the provinces, so it's basically just none of those. So it's a process of elimination to determine it. So you have to ask yourself 3 questions. The first is, Are you amending a section in the Constitution? If you're not amending a section in the Constitution, then move on to the second question. The second question is a Schedule 4 matter implicated? If a Schedule 4 matter is not implicated, then you are dealing with the third question. The third question is it a money bill? If it's not a money bill, then it can only be a Section 75 bill, because a Section 75 bill, an ordinary bill not affecting the provinces, is a bill which does not amend the Constitution, doesn't deal with a Schedule 4 matter, and is not a money bill. So if you understand this process, then you will be able to identify in the test when each bill is what it is. So I'm going to run through them very quickly, and I'm going to do it in order this time. Section 74 amends the Constitution. Which part of the Constitution will be amended? That is how you decide between 74 subsection 1, which is section 1 of the Constitution, 74 subsection 2, which is chapter 2 of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and section 74 subsection 3, any other provision of the Constitution is being amended or changed. Then 75. 75 is an ordinary bill not affecting the provinces, which means it doesn't amend the Constitution, there's no Schedule 4 matter implicated, and it's not a money bill. Section 76 is an ordinary bill that does affect the provinces, and it will affect the provinces where it deals with a Schedule 4 matter. It is a 76 bill, an ordinary bill, affecting the provinces if a Schedule 4 matter is included. Then, finally, a money bill. Just read through section 77, subsection 1, subparagraphs A to D. If it has any of those keywords in the question, you know it's a money bill. I hope this was helpful, and if you did find it helpful, this is how I tend to teach in my revision workshops. I do know not everyone can afford them though. That's why I'm just putting this video out there. I obviously taught the people in the workshops a lot more, but this is just a very simple guideline to dealing with those different kinds of bills. I hope you guys enjoyed. Cheers. Pass and prosper.